Make sure. Yep, we're live. So we are live. I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys. Or can I tag you maybe? Can you see it and share it to the page? Can you see it on my page and share it to your page?
Go on your page on Facebook.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah,
see it on my page and share it to your page?
yeah. I'm doing it now.
I'm doing it as well.
Okay.
I just shared.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Make sure I get it. So, welcome everyone to the Just Breathe podcast. So, a little bit about what Just Breathe is. It is a ministry created as a safe house or brave space for men and women to come together without judgment to share their just breathe moments in life. Yes, you might have experienced a gut punch, you shed some tears, you need a resuscitation, need a recovery, but I would like to encourage you to just breathe. This ministry is ordained for us as kingdom ambassadors to come together in unity on one accord to live on purpose through the gospel of Jesus Christ. With God, everything has purpose. Yes, even those just breathe moments. For more information about the Just Breathe podcast, please contact myself, Rosalind Farrell, at 972-292-8544, or you can email me at whatisyourdetour@gmail.com. I would love to have you as my special guest. So without further ado, I have my two beautiful cousins that I have so much respect for as educators. In the educational system. So I'm excited about hearing about the pros and cons that they both have to face within their own respective districts. But before we get started, I'm gonna lead us in prayer. I'm gonna introduce the two queens, and then we'll go ahead and get started with Q&A. And I would encourage anyone, if you have any questions or comments, please put them, post them, and we'll go ahead and answer those questions and also pay attention to the comments as well. So, Father God, I come to you tonight, oh God, in the name of Jesus, God. Thank you for this opportunity, oh God, to just breathe. I thank you, God, for Gerresa, and I thank you for Shaniece, oh God. I pray right now, God, that whatever that needs to be shared on tonight, oh God, is all for your glory, God. I thank you for this opportunity, oh God. I thank you for the ones that are going to join us on tonight. God, I just ask that your will be done, oh God, on this podcast, oh God. I thank you, I praise you, and I give you all the glory in all these things I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I thank you, I praise you, and I give you all the glory in all these things I pray in Jesus' name. Hold on, I'm trying to look at the comments. Make sure I have that muted. I thank you, I praise you, and all right, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Miss Gerresa McGraw. Gerresa has been in the educational field for almost 30 years with the same school district, St. Louis Public Schools. She has a master's degree in elementary education, and she is a certified reading specialist. Gerresa has taught grades through first through sixth and have worked in the Metropolitan Consortium Association program to help increase effective reading strategies. She was also a part of the Urban Education Symposium program to help find strategies to help achieve higher testing scores. She has a she is a master teacher and help mentor new teachers. She has two goddaughters and one god grandchild. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Queen Gerresa McGraw. So we also have Queen Shaniece Williams, And Shaniece has been in the school district for 11 years. She started out as an after-school teacher's assistant, playground aide, a para, sub, 5 years as a certified teacher, and currently a third grade teacher for the past 3 years. She's looking forward to obtaining her master's degree in leadership. She has an amazing daughter, Trinice Demi. She's 11 and a violinist. And she cannot wait to see what all she will accomplish in her life. So without further ado, we have Queen Shaniece Williams. So first of all, I would like to thank you both for being on the podcast. When I reached out to you, I just thank you for your yes. I'm excited about the things that you're going to share with us tonight. So without further ado, Gerresa, I'm going to start with you. So if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit more about yourself, should I say, and how long you've been teaching.
Okay, so I it's interesting. I started at a magnet school. I started teaching at a magnet school. So that includes a lot of diversity at our school. So when I first started teaching, I had students from all over the world. And that was a challenge for me because I didn't speak all these different languages, and I still had to teach all of my students the same curriculum. So I began taking ESOL classes at UMSL so that I could learn a little bit more on how to help those children be successful and come into a new country and learning the English language and trying to find new strategies to be able to meet their needs as well as the students that were already from America. So it was very interesting. It was very challenging for me. But I was excited and I'm very glad I was put in the place that I was put in. And I actually taught there for 28 years at that school. And I taught first grade for 10 years. I taught second grade for 15 years. Taught, and then I was a reading specialist for 3 years. After this 3 years, last year, our district didn't have enough money to keep the reading specialists on. So I had to go back into the classroom. So now I am using another one of my degrees. I'm at a middle school for the first time, and I am teaching sixth grade social studies, which I enjoy very well. Middle school is definitely different from elementary school. Middle schoolers are very more independent, more outspoken, and it's been good. It's been good. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm at the end of my journey. This will definitely be the last year at this school district. I have served all my time here after this year, and I will definitely be retiring. So that's a little bit about me.
Well, congratulations, Queen. That's exciting. I mean, to go all of these years and you, like you said, you're at the end of your journey and you're doing something now that's a little bit more challenging, but it's something that you enjoy. So you're going out with a bang.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Gerresa. So, Shaniece, we're going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in the school district.
All right. Well, while Gerresa is ending her career, I'm just getting mine started. I have a ways to go. So I started out, like I said earlier, as a after school teacher, and it kind of just grew on me, and it came natural. So I ended up going to school at Lindenwood University. I got my bachelor's in elementary ed, and I started off as a sub. So I bounced from high school, elementary, middle school. I have seriously worked all grades. As of now, I did find out that I like little kids.
Right.
The middle school can't do it. I did enjoy working high school. I taught 11th grade science for like 6 months, and that was I did enjoy that. So now I'm back at elementary. I teach third grade. I'm loving it. It's so many new things that I just get to bear witness to. So I'm on this new journey. I'm loving it. I can't wait to see where it goes from here.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. So, with both you, one ending, one just starting, very interesting, two spectrums. So, Shanice, the one thing about it is you have Gerresa to bounce off of some of your ideas. I take my hats off to both of you. First of all, let me say that because Gerresa will tell you I tried subbing for a few years, and I used to call her on a day like, girl, I don't know how you do this with these kids. This is not for me. This is not my lane. So when I hear anything about educator, I'm like, ooh, let me just bow down to you because that is a tough job.
Yeah.
So when you said you have been all, all the grades, I had the little bitty kids to the older kids that was speaking in Spanish, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I know they're probably cussing me out, calling me all kind of names. So it was interesting. So I take my hats out to you. You both have a very, very challenging job. So Gerresa, what are your teaching philosophies?
Well, I have I feel like all my students can learn in a very unique way. It's my responsibility to meet the needs of all my students. It's my responsibility to find out the way that they learn, what makes their mind click. So, first of all, I always have an interview. I was interviewed with my parents before the school year starts so that I can find out their strengths, their weaknesses, the different things that they like, dislike, anything from allergies, everything, learn just everything, and I keep a journal for each of my students so that when a problem exists or something goes on, I can look at my notes. I know who to call, who they want me to call, what's going on with this kid. I already know, okay, they don't like this. They don't like loud noises. They don't like being in a crowd. They don't like standing up in front of people. So it's like I interview the parents and I talk to my students one-on-one when they come into my classroom. I have like an interview session with them. Like, what do you like? Like, you like to draw? What do you like? How you like to learn? You like to read? You like math? What subject you like? I just get in and dissect everything that they need so that I can meet all the learning styles possible. I know all kids learn differently. All kids need different things to function in life. And I strive to be that kind of teacher that all kids will succeed in my classroom one way or the other. I'm going to find out what they need and I'm going to support them. And we're going to do that. I always have flexible seating in my classroom. So some kids like to sit in a desk, some don't. Some like to sit up under their desk. Some like to sit on a bean bag. Some like to sit in my tall desks that are standing desks. They want to stand up. Some kids need a little bouncy rubber thing up under their attached to their chair so they can bounce their legs. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever you need, however you need to learn, as long as you are quiet and you are doing your work in my classroom and you are being successful, I don't care if you, I don't care what you do. As long as you are learning and you're doing your work, sit wherever you want to sit. I had some weird things. I had some kids, they just like, they want to just work up under their desk and have their feet up on their chair. Okay, that's fine with me. As long as you're learning, whatever makes you comfortable. That's how I want you to learn, and in my classroom, I always introduce all my different activities, my new subjects, my new material. I'm going to do it in a way where they can either experiment with it so they can use their critical thinking skills, because all kids learn different ways. So I teach my lessons in all different ways so that every child can feel successful in some type of way learning this activity, because you might need to be the person that's going to draw. You can read. You the person that's going to read. You the person that comprehends well. You the person that know how to do the math problems well in this group. Everybody has a strength and everybody has a weakness. So I try to partner my students up with someone that they can work with and partner with, and they can feed off of, and they can help each other out. I always call it a learning. We are a family. We are a learning community. I always teach my kids that my classroom, we're going to be a family. So we're going to all work together as a team to make sure everybody is successful. You see somebody struggling, I have helpers. You know, I just try to, I make sure everybody good, they nobody hungry, you know, because I can't teach if I'm hungry. So I know they can't learn if they hungry. So I always have snacks. So that's not going to ever be a problem in my classroom. We always going to be full up in there, because I know when I was a kid, when I was hungry, I wasn't paying attention to my teacher. I didn't care less. I'm focusing on when it's lunch. I'm not listening to nothing else. So I take the things that I failed in school and how I acted and the way I acted because it was boring to me. I piggybacked on all that. I didn't like school. I did not like school. I didn't even think I was going to be a teacher. That's not even what I wanted to be in life. But it turned out that way. And I said, I'm going to be the fun, loving teacher, but I'm going to do loving discipline, because I'm still going to be strict. And we still gonna have structure on here. It's a time to be serious and it's a time to be played, because they know I don't play games. So it's just one of those things I fell into, and I just piggyback on what I needed to be successful in school, and I didn't get it. So that's why I make sure that I'm doing all the things that I can for my kids so they can be successful, and just try to cover all the bases. Yeah. And that's it.
Wow, that's amazing, Gerresa. I'm like, sure, where were you at when I was going to school? Because just to have the autonomy to do all of those different things and seek out the different ways of, you know, we all learn differently, like you said. And sometimes it takes a person like you to seek those type of things out, especially kids at a young age. And just you having that, you know, their way around it. Like you said, some people learn, you know, on the floor with their feet up on the desk, whatever it takes for them to learn, as long as they're not being disrupted. So, man, that's awesome. Like, I'm like, where was she at when I was going to school? Because I understand, like, and I know you have snacks. So you're going to feed the children, you're going to comb their hair, you're going to do all of that. Well rounded. All right, Shaniece. So we're going to give you the opportunity to tell us about what are your philosophies in the classroom.
Alrighty. Well, my biggest philosophy is, like Gerresa said, we're family, a big family. And I make sure that I set high expectations for all my kids. I work in an urban school district, so you know the learning level, or we could say the learning curve within my classroom. You know, I have kids kindergarten, first grade, second grade level. You know, I teach third grade, but I have kids learning on all different levels. So to make sure that my kids are learning and they're being proficient in what they're learning, you know, like Gerresa said, you have to teach all different ways. You have kids who can, you know, listen. You have kids who are visual learners, kinesthetic learners. So I make sure that I touch all three of those aspects when I'm teaching and within my classroom. I do make sure that I'm teaching life skills. I want kids to be able to problem solve, you know, critical think, and be able to, you know, be independent and, you know, just basically teach, learn, or be able to just do whatever it is that they need to do on their own. Throughout life, you're not going to always have somebody to walk you through it. So I want to give them those life skills that, you know, they can build on, so that, hey, okay. Am I still here?
Yes.
Am I still on? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Sorry. Yes. So those are things we do. I had a phone call. I didn't know it was gonna come through. I thought I put it on do not disturb. So yes, those are things that I make sure that we do every day within our classroom. And I also, you know, always make sure that I'm reassuring my kids that they can do it, that you're capable of doing it. You know, don't let anything deter you from, you know, what your goals are in life. So yeah.
I love it. I mean, both of the philosophies. I'm like, just to hear you guys speak about it, it's almost like you're bringing it to life. If you've never, you know, really sat in a classroom, because you know, you see these different things on TV or whatever, but just the fact that you pointed out, I'm teaching them life skills. You know what I'm saying? Like that speaks volumes, because I even think back, like going to college and not being very prepared when you came out, because you think you have this degree and you're going to go right into your field. And you know what I'm saying? They don't really prepare you for you got to take some baby steps to get there. And you might have to do something that you really didn't go to school for, but you got to be able to, you know what I'm saying, bounce back and, like you said, cope, deal with those things that, like you said, those life skills. So I appreciate that, Shaniece. So keep doing what you're doing, girl. That speaks volumes that you actually are teaching kids at a young age how to actually cope and have those life skills out here when they get out here in the real world and have to, face those type of things. All right. So my next question is, what has inspired you to choose education as your career path, Gerresa?
Well, like I said, I wanted to be a lawyer, because that's what my dad always told me. It was like, you can lie your way out of anything and make somebody believe that you are telling the truth. You need to be a lawyer. But when I found out how long it took to be a lawyer, I'm like, man, this is just gonna take too long. I got to do something a little faster. So, and actually, I when I went off to college in Texas, I was only there for 2 years, and then I came home. And so I really was just taking the basic classes. So then when I came home, I tried SIUE Edwardsville, and because that's where my mom went, but that didn't work for my learning style because I wasn't used to big auditorium full of students, 100, 200 students in one class learning. I needed a smaller setting like I had when I was in college in Texas, and that wasn't for me because I needed for the teacher to know my name. I was a number in Edwardsville, and that didn't work for me. So I withdrew on the first day, and I went to my mom's job and took her check back. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do because this school not gonna work for me. And she was like, you need to go down the street and talk to Dr. Katie Wright. She teaches at one of these schools in St. Louis. So go talk to her and you go to work with her. And I was like, what? So I went down the street and talked to Dr. Katie Wright, and she is 100 years old now, still living. And she was like, I teach at Harris Stowe State University, so you can go to work with me and I can get you registered over there. And I'm like, okay. So I went over there. She got me all registered and hooked up. And at that time, I was like, this is just a teaching college. I'm like, I don't even have another choice. I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna be a teacher then. And the classrooms were small, the teachers were cool, they were nice, they were sitting down breaking things down. I didn't understand. I could ask a question. I could ask a question then in class. I didn't have to set up office hours and talk to them later. It was personal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I like these teachers. It's cool. This what I'm getting ready to do because I understood the learning, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm getting ready to be a teacher. So I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I just kind of fell in it. And I just, it just figured out, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I was teaching at a daycare center while I was going to Harris Stowe. And so they would let me leave and take my class and come back and forth. And so I was teaching at the Catholic Daycare Center. And actually I went there. And so the nuns were like, you were horrible when you were at this daycare. We put you out a couple of times, but we let you come back because we loved your mom. I was like, oh, I don't know if my mom had to pay extra or what, but they was like, since you were so horrible, like we're giving you the 2-year-old classroom. And I was like, what? I had 22-year-olds by myself. I was like, oh man, they was paying me back. But I was like, I'm gonna get them together. But when I had to do my practicum at Harris Stowe, which I love, that I was able to early in my career to go to classrooms and go to schools and visit. And I was like, I know all colleges were not set up like that back then, but I'm so glad Harris Stowe was like that because I was able to see what I was getting into. I had to see that I'm not only the teacher, like I'm the mom, I'm the nurse, the counselor, the doc, I'm everything, security, I'm everything. When I was watching those teachers, when I was student teaching, I was like, dang, this what you gotta do. I'm like, these kids. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, I'm gonna have to come in here like Medea because these kids are something else. And I was just looking at all the things that these teachers had to do within a day, like all the things they had to get through to get their class together to even start teaching. Like, kids weren't just in there just quiet learning like it was back in the day. It was like a shock to me, like, man, this is gonna take a lot of energy, and people don't understand that teaching is a lot. Like it is, it's a lot on your plate. You're doing everything. Like you have so many roles that you have to play in a teacher's position, and that's how I became a teacher, and that's how I fell into it, and I love it. I still love it to this day, and I have a lot of stories to tell about it, and I'm definitely planning on writing a book about my career. Yeah, I'm planning on writing a book about my career. Yeah.
Now that would be awesome right there. But the one thing that stood out as you were talking, number one, when you said Dr. Katie Wright, if Dr. Katie Wright had anything to do with anything, you're going to have to do that right. I know that for myself. Honey, she don't play. And I know she was not going to play. She was going to put her name behind something.
Yeah, and stood on it. And she like, this where you getting ready to go. Your mama sent you down here, so you going to her store. And I'm getting ready to enroll you, and we going tonight. I'm like, okay.
Right, that's all you can say is, okay.
Okay, yes.
Right. And you love what you do. Yeah. Not often do we hear that. To hear someone that's been in education 30 years, and you still say, I love what I do. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Shaniece, it's your turn to tell us about what has been your challenges. And what has inspired you? What has inspired you to choose education as your career?
What inspired me was my mom. My mom did 30 years as a SPED teacher. So I have always been in and out of school my entire life. When I was in school, I did my own schooling within, the school I went to. But when summer hit, I was back in school with my mom. So, that routine, I really got used to it. Now, when I graduated, I thought I was going to go be a pilot. I wanted to be a pilot, but life happened. So after I had my baby, I was like working at Rainbow as a manager wasn't going to cut it. I needed more money. I needed to be able to take care of my family. So I ended up working a summer gig or whatever the case may be. And I was like, you know what? This comes natural. Yeah. So I ended up going to school. I started off for radiology. Didn't like it. I did respiratory therapist. Didn't like that. I thought it was extremely gross. So I was like, what can I do that I like? And I was like, I did enjoy teaching that summer, so let's do that. It was a tutoring place in Fairview Heights. So I said, well, let me try, education. So I went to the counselor, changed my my degree, and it took off from there. So I started off after school teaching, fell in love with that, and I ended up getting a position as a playground aide. So, basically helping the kids with lunch. I did that. I was continuing my degree, and then it was time for all of my different practicums. So I was like, okay, well, now I have some credits under my belt. I end up going to the ROE and getting my sub license. So that really prepared me for where I am today. Just kind of, bouncing building to building, kind of seeing what I like, getting my feet wet, kind of, staying under some of the mentor teachers, who's been there for a while. My mom as well. I believe I talked to Gerresa a few times about some things. So, I had the help. I just needed to find out where I fit. Yeah. And elementary is what I like the most. I can't do the older kids. I just cannot. Middle school, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I can't do it.
I couldn't either.
I did teach 5th grade for 1 year. My first year as a certified teacher. I did teach fifth grade, and I'll never do that again as well. So third grade is where that's what I like best. So pretty much my mom inspired me, and some of the people along the way in my life who kind of showed me um where I needed to be. And
Yeah.
I'm happy I made that decision. And I do love what I do. And that's for anybody who wants to, go into education. Get your feet wet first and
Yes.
see if that's something that you really want to do. You have to be passionate about teaching because you can't turn it off. Well, even though I clocked out today at 6 o'clock, I'm still working. I have papers in front of me that I need to grade. I'm thinking about a lesson I want to teach for differentiation. So it's a lot, it's a lot, but it's something that I love to do, and I wouldn't change it.
Kudos to you both, because I've heard you both say that you love it. And as you are talking about your journey, I can feel and I can also hear the passion. You're not begrudgingly, you're not bashing like, oh, this is the worst job. Like, you really, I mean, you're passionate about it. So kudos to you both, and keep doing what you are doing, because we need more and more and more educators like you guys that actually love, take the time out with your students. And like Gerresa said, you wear a lot of different hats. I can only imagine. And like you said, Shaniece, when you get home, you don't turn it off. You still working, and you go back and you do it again. So
Mm-hmm.
kudos to you both. All right. So, Gerresa, can you tell me what has been the most rewarding throughout your career?
I would say when my students come back to see me, when they call me and tell me that they graduating from college, telling me they graduating from um, beauty school, they in the military, they graduated from the military, they playing college ball, they got for the pros looking at them, just to see all the success, and they want me to know what happened, and they come back and they like, you were still the best teacher I ever had. Out of all the teachers I ever had, you were still the best teacher I ever had. It's like, you had the best food, best snacks. Like, I'm on the classes, I was starving. Like, man, it's like, I was like, where's Miss McGraw? I was like, you showed me love. They come back, they want to volunteer, they want to help me with the kids. They talk to the kids and tell them, don't be, you need to be good. Miss McGraw, a good teacher, she care about you, I actually had I had took my kids on a field trip to the zoo, and some of the kids had forgotten their lunch. And I was like, oh man, I thought everybody had their backpacks. I thought everybody had their lunch. So I had to pay for them to eat. So when I went into the restaurant at the zoo, I was like, do you have any student discounts? I need to feed about 8 kids, And so turns out one of my former students was the manager. And he was like, Miss McGraw. Oh, Miss McGraw was like, oh yeah. He was like, you ain't gotta pay for nothing. Like, all you did for me in school, it was like, you bought me a coat. I ain't have a coat in the wintertime. You bought me some boots, some shoe carnival. You took me to shoe carnival because my shoes was holy. He was like, you ain't gotta pay for nothing. He brought free food out there for all the kids and the parents that was volunteering, and I was like, wow, like, he remembered everything I did for him. Like, that's the most rewarding, when parents call me and they like, can you come to my child's high school? They got out of control. They not listening. Can you visit? Can you help? All of that is rewarding to me when parents still reach out to me because they having problems and they know I was a teacher that cared, and they know their child respected me. They reach out to me. These kids still getting in touch with me, on Facebook. I'm finding out kids, they got car dealing business. Bring your car to me, Miss McGraw. I got a car dealing. But, the success it just makes me feel so good that they actually doing something, And then it's some downfalls. I have some kids that call me that's in jail, and they, apologize, say they messed up, and Miss McGraw, can you send me some comic books or something, And they call and talk to me. I have some kids that went down the wrong path, and but they still reach out, and I still have love for them.
Yeah.
I still try to help them. So it's just rewarding just for them to come back to me and let me know what they have done, and they want to keep up with me, and they want me to know that I was an inspiration. And actually, I had a student, and he was like, "You remember you used to make us stand up in front of the class, and you'd be like, if you used to trick us and be like, well, if you do it and you do this speech and you speak and say your paper, get some food." And I didn't really want to do it, but then you started making me speak, and I started speaking, and he was like, "I'm running for mayor." And I'm like, "Really?" He was like, "I won mayor in my town." I mean, you know, and he lives in Arkansas now, but he reached out to me on Facebook, told me he was a mayor. He was like, "Thanks for making me stand up doing all the presentations," you know. So that's rewarding to me, you know,
Yes.
seeing how good my students have become successful in life and the things that they listen to me and they doing a good job, and just took all the things I told them, everything I tried to talk to them about and tell them what not to do, you know, all these life skills. And, you know, my girls try not to have these babies so early, you know, and some of them, you know, didn't. And they told me they messed up. Some of them had kids in high school. They come back and tell me, they said, "But Miss McGraw, I'm going to get back on track. I'm still in school. I ain't have no more. I'm going to get focused." So, yeah, just my kids reaching back out to me and keeping in touch with me and letting me know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I mean,
It's
absolutely.
rewarding.
Yes. I mean, you planted that seed so early into their lives, and to have them reach back out to you, that's your fruits of your labor. I mean, and you have the passion. I mean, that just goes a long, long way. So, wow, kudos to you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
I receive so many different benefits and different things from just even parents I run into in the long, like, and just run into, and they be like, "I remember you taught my child." I was at Sam's, and it was a parent. He was the manager at Sam's. He was like, "Oh, Miss McGraw, I remember you." Oh, he said, "Mr. McGraw, I'm gonna hook you up." He said, I know you in here, you buying all these snacks. I know you did it for my child." He was like, "These snacks, all this getting ready to be on me today." And I had like $100 and some worth of snacks. And he was like, "I'm
Wow.
here for all of it," because he remembered me, you know, and I had his child maybe 15 years ago, but I get blessed in so
Yeah.
many different ways. Seeing when I go out to eat, I might see one of my former parents. They like, I got your food. I got your food, Miss McGraw. You fed my child, wasn't even hungry when he came home from school. Look, I got you, Miss McGraw. You know, all of it is just reward. My blessing
Yes.
coming back to me.
That is a blessing. That is truly a blessing. So, wow. I got to share this story. So, when I had my youngest son, I thought he had a speech impediment. So I called Gerresa and I said, "Oh man, we got to get him tested because he's saying McDonald's and he ain't pronouncing his S's and D's right." And I was like, "Girl, we gonna go to civilian learning to get him tested." And Gerresa let me have it. She was like, "Cookie," she was like, "He's gonna do that. It ain't nothing wrong with him. He gonna spare. He gonna be okay." She had to talk me down because I was on the ledge. I'm like, we got something right. He not. When I tell you, I still remember that to this day. And Darius ended up being in a gifted program, and she was like, "You see what I mean?" But honey, I didn't know what that boy was saying. McDonald's and him pronouncing S's and C's. And I said, Gerresa, something is not right, girl. We got to do test. So I appreciate the heart that you have for children, honey, because whew. All right, Shaniece, what has been the most rewarding for you throughout your career?
So at the beginning of this journey I'm on now, the most rewarding thing now is just witnessing my kids' growth.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you may get a student and it's like, whoa, how you get here? But you know, after them being with you, working with them, you know, showing them dedication, showing them that they're capable of doing it, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, you see the growth. This week we took our STAR test at our building, and it's like a benchmark. You know, you take one in fall, winter, and spring, just to see how much your students have grown within the year. So I had a lot of growth. Out of 26 students, I had 20 kids all go up in scores. I had kids even switch color blocks. And I was just
Wow.
so excited to see this. So just seeing that growth and to see their eyes just light up like, "Oh, I did that. I could do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, see, I told you you could do it." So just to see them, you know, just grow, even to
Yeah.
mature, you know, learning new things about themselves. You would be, it's just amazing to just see them, you know, come from here and make it there, and not,
Yes.
just you just have to uplift them all, throughout the time that you're with them. Another rewarding thing is to see a relationship you can build with the child. When you first meet
Mhm.
them, a lot of are talk much in class, and it's like, what can I do to break through with you? And once you finally find that nick that the kids either something they like, or
Mhm.
within a lesson you may relate to them in some sort of way. So now it's like, oh, okay, she get me a little bit. So now you build that rapport, and it's almost like a mom son or mom
Yep.
daughter type of thing. I All throughout the day I hear kids say, mama, mama. Oh, my bad, Miss Williams. I'm like, it's okay. I'm okay that we have that relationship, because I'm with these kids 8 hours a day. I
Yes.
see these kids sometimes more than I see my own daughter, and vice versa. They see me more than they see their parents. Sometimes they leave for school, mom's already at work. Now it's Miss Williams all day. When you get home, mom
Mhm.
may have a second job, and you don't get to see mom that day. So, I make sure that their rapport is there, and that's something that's just rewarding to me. They feel
Yeah.
like I am a mother figure, or we have a lot of we're learning together, we're growing together, we're on
Yeah.
this journey together. So that's very rewarding to me. Now, what Gerresa said, that's my end goal. I can't wait to see these kids in 10 or
Yes.
15 years, and they're coming back saying, oh, Miss Williams, this, that, and the other. So right now the reward for me is the growth,
Yeah.
academically, socially, all of that.
Yes. Thank you both for sharing that. I mean, just the fact that you pour and you pour and you pour into your children, and they come back, like Jerisa said, when they're adults. Yeah, you might have been hard on them. They had some tough lessons learned, but just to come back and to appreciate you, that speaks volumes. It shows that, number one, they respect you. You poured out that love, you invested into those children, and they come back and they still have that same respect and that same love for you. It takes a special kind of person like you, Shaniece, and you, Geresa, to be educators, because, like you said, you don't know what that home life is. So when you're more than a teacher, so it's important. Like, I've heard you both, and I have so much respect for you. Say you have to love what you do. It's not just a paycheck for you. You're actually investing and growing, like you said, with these children. So I respect both of you for that. All righty. So, what advice can you offer to anyone that is inspiring to be an educator?
Go volunteer.
Yes.
Go volunteer, go to the school so you can see exactly what you're going to have to do. Because one thing I know for sure, I have had a lot of student teachers that have been in my room and they did not like it. And I
Yeah.
said, that's why all these colleges need to have these students go into classrooms and actually see what's going on before they get to be seniors. And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
was so happy, because my college, when I was a sophomore, no, we going into schools because you can figure out something else if this not for you. You got to
Mm-hmm.
see what you up against. And that's what a lot of these schools don't prepare these students for now. You have to know that you're gonna have kids in there that might come in there throwing chairs, desks, mad.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they get off the bus, mad because they haven't eaten all night. They haven't eaten since lunch the day before. They
Yeah.
bus was late. Then they didn't even get to eat breakfast at school. So they mad. You know what I'm saying? So it's so much you have to figure out as a teacher. You have
Mm-hmm.
all these different roles you have to play. You don't know what's going on at home. The home life is what's going on. They couldn't sleep at. I have kids. I'm mad, Miss McGraw. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. My people had all night. It was people at the house in and out. It was loud. I didn't get to sleep. I'm sleeping on the floor. I don't have a bed. I have a lot of kids. I just had to let them go to sleep. As soon as they came to school, I had to make sure they ate, and I let them lay down. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I had pillows, I had throws. I let them lay down. They need to get some rest, because there ain't nothing I can do. You done stayed up all night. It ain't nothing you gonna learn today with me because you're tired. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to know, you have to not be so quick to throw these kids, throw them out.
Yeah.
I ain't finna deal with this. You ain't trying to learn today. You have to be all in. you have to be patient, you have to be kind, you have to be understanding, and you have to be willing to listen, because sometimes that's all it takes. But if kids don't trust you and they don't feel like they can trust you, they're not going to tell you what's going on anyway. Kids can feel if you really like them or not. They can feel that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people just don't have that. You might have a degree, but this might not be for you because you don't have the compassion. You don't have what it takes to be a teacher. You have to have so many different skills invested in you, your personality, the way you come off, everything. You have to be able to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Understand people. You don't have all that inside of you. This not for everybody. This job is not for everybody.
Not at all.
You know, you have to figure out what's for you, and you need to figure that out quickly. So you need to volunteer. You need to be a substitute. You need to figure you and to see if this is what you can do on a daily basis. And because it's so much you have to do, you know. And me in the game starting 10 years ago, I had to decide for myself that I'm not bringing my work home with me anymore, because I did that for so many years. You know what I'm saying? And then I was mixing my home life with my school life, with my personal life. So then I had to balance. You had to be able to balance, especially if you have children. You need to figure out if you're going to be able to do this and still be a mother and have kids. So and that's one reason why I wasn't, at first I wanted to have a lot of kids, but when I started teaching and how much I have to give and how much I have to pour out and how much energy I have to give every day on a daily basis, I wouldn't have nothing left. I give my hands off to teachers that have children and they still teaching and they're still able to do it, and they have kids at home to tend to. I don't know how y'all do it, because when I get home, I'm going to sleep. I don't have time to talk to nobody, give nobody no attention or nothing. I am going to sleep, you know, because I am tired, because I have given all I have at work. I don't have anything else. So you have to really see if this is for you, because you have a to do as an educator. People think it's so easy, and it's like, y'all get off on the summer, y'all get to all these days, these holidays. It still ain't enough. It still ain't. I still be tired. You know what I mean? After 3 months, we don't get rested until August, and it's time to go back.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And people don't know what we have to do. And like Shaniece said, we are with some of these kids more than their own parents are with them. We spend more hours with kids than their parents spend with them. So we are the parent. We are the parent. We are everything, because they're with us more than they're with their parents. You know what I'm saying? When you add all those hours up, even you add the weekend up, it is not sleeping hours. When you add all those hours up, they're with us more than they're with their own parents.
Wow.
You know? But yeah, that's what I say. You got to go in there. You got to go in there. You got to go in these schools. And I don't mean no little Catholic school, little private schools. No, because if you can handle urban school,
urban,
yeah.
urban,
you're gonna have to go to the trenches.
Yeah.
Where the good, where everybody is got something going on. Because in any given day, I might have 12 different kids that got some issues that I have to tend to before I can even start teaching.
Amen.
Because I got to get everything under control before we do anything. I got 12 kids with situations going on, and I can't do nothing else until I get them together.
You got to catch it at the door.
Got to catch it at the door.
Yeah, catch it at the door. If not, the entire day will be thrown off.
You got to stop and pause.
Yeah.
Because you can't do nothing else. If you got dysfunction, you can't do nothing else. You got to get everybody on one accord.
Wow.
Yep. You know,
and I think colleges need to add that to the process of your degree. Like you should have to go to urban schools and suburban schools, because the turnover rate, I've been working at the same school for 5 years, and man, I have seen so many teachers come and go, and it's always the first year teachers say like, I did not know this, I did not learn this. So colleges need to start, implementing that. Well, maybe you should have to go to this school for a week or go to that school, even if you volunteer for a day or maybe 2 days. But you need to really get your feet wet and see if this is something you want to do, because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not for the weak. You have to be a strong person to be in education. So yes, if you want to be an educator, you need to volunteer. I agree with that 100%. Volunteer, get in these schools, get to know the kids, go out into the community, see what type of people are within the community. That'll let you know a lot. So it's not easy at all. It's loving,
It's
it's
not.
rewarding, but it's not easy. So yeah, it is. I love it. That's all I can say is that I love it. I really do love it. But if you want to become an educator, make sure it is something you're passionate about, something you
Yes.
really want to do. And
Yeah.
college does not prepare you for all the roles you take on. Yesterday, I did hair in the morning.
Ooh.
When I got done doing hair, I had to go teach a lesson on my planned period. I'm finding clothes and shoes for a kid. It's a lot. You take on many different roles. You're not just a teacher, you're a
Yeah.
doctor, you're a mama, you're a pastor, you're a psychologist. You have to figure out what's going on with them. And if you want everybody to succeed in your classroom, even those small things, those, you have to catch those, when a kid isn't confident with themselves. If a kid is always wanting to sit in the back or hide in a corner, you need to figure out what's going on with those
Yeah.
babies. You can't just allow them to do that all day in your classroom. No, come here, come talk to me. Sometimes you may have to miss your lunch because you got to sit out with a kid and just talk to them. Because, like Gerresa said, oftentimes they just want to talk. You would be amazed how many students have trauma that an adult should have, but a kid is experiencing these things at home. So sometimes that you may think you're in the third grade. You don't know anything about life. Sometimes those babies know a lot of things about life. They can sit down and have a grown-up conversation with you and know exactly what they're saying and understand what you're saying back to them. So it's a lot being a teacher, but it's rewarding. If you can do it, I say stick with it.
Yes.
And put your big
Yeah.
boy boots on. It's a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you. Definitely need to go in that classroom and learn and watch the good, bad, and the ugly. Because when I was student teaching in Georgia, I had to call Gloria and was like, "What in the world have you signed me up for?" Because this little boy, I mean, he would come in. The first thing you do in the morning is, "You're not my mom. You're not my mom," and I'm sitting there like, okay, I know that. But as I reach out to Gerresa, reach out to Gloria, like, how am I supposed to handle this? Like, I know, but I just started loving on him and started speaking positive affirmations into that little boy. And he finally started calming down. He come in the classroom. He wasn't disruptive in the morning. And at the end of that school year, we ended up hugging, taking pictures. And I was like in tears because I saw the transformation in that little boy. But if I would have went in and started yelling and screaming, go sit down or go sit in the hall and all that, it probably wouldn't have ended that way. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I had a little boy. The beginning of the school year, we have a meet and greet with our parents, and you get to meet the kids or whatever. And I had a parent like, yeah, his previous teacher, she didn't like him. The kids picked on him. He can't read very well. Just negative, 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 negative. So I sat back and I said, I'm gonna allow you to pick your seat. And whenever you have a problem or a question, I want you to come directly to me and let's talk about it. So one day we were in small groups and I told the student, go ahead and read this for me. And in my mind, mom had told me he couldn't read that well. So I even put him in a lower group and he started reading. I was like, you can read. So then I started to notice he didn't complete his work a lot. I was like, man, what can I do to get this baby to start completing his work? He never did it. So first test comes. It was a reading test and a spelling test. He aced it, 100 on everything. And I'm like, how is he doing this? I'm like, did he do this? Or, trying to figure out, like, how is this possible? So one day I pulled him by himself and I gave him a higher passage than what he should have had. Well, what I thought he should have had. He aced the passage. He turned around and asked me some questions. And I was like, wait a minute. What are we talking about right now? And he was like, oh yeah, I read this with my dad all the time. I said, you read with your dad? He was like, yeah. I said, so why does your mom and your previous teacher think this or that? He said, well, my teacher, she didn't like me. So I didn't do any work for her. And I was like, man, like just to sit down and talk to these kids and show them love. Like
Yes.
you can have a totally different student. Even when like you get incoming students and you hear teachers say like, oh, this student is this and that student is that. Okay, that's your opinion. We'll see what he does, you know, what they do in my class.
Yes.
So I'm telling you, love goes a long way. Taking time out with a kid goes a long way. And a snack goes a long way. You don't know how much you can get a student to do for a good bag of Takis or Airheads. So you just gotta be positive. You gotta be loving, and you just have to. You gotta show them that you care. They want to see that they matter. And once you do that, you can almost get a kid to do anything and everything for you.
Yes.
So yes, and he was one of my babies this week who went from yellow to green. And I'm not sure if you all know, but you have 5 levels. You have urgent intervention, which is red. You have yellow, which is intervention. You have blue, which is on watch, and then you have green, which is at benchmark, meaning they're on their actual grade level, and then you have above benchmark. Those are kids who are higher than their grade level. So he went from intervention to on level, you know, and that was in a matter from August to now. So, you know, just to hear people say like how he was, and now you see like, oh no, he's not one of them. Please don't play with him. And I speak very highly behind my kids. Like do not play with my kids. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, Shaniece, I'm piggyback on that. That's what I always told the other teachers. I don't want to hear what happened last year. I don't need to hear that, because when they come in my classroom, it's a new start and it's a new day. What they did for you, what they did in your room, I'm not gonna have that problem in my room. I'm not gonna have that problem in my room. And like I said, I took time to understand each one of my kids. I had kids that were 2 and 3 grade levels below when they came to me, and then what was going on. Some of them couldn't see. They just needed some glasses. Baby, I got them glasses for them, put them in that free program. They come to our school and get them kids some glasses. They was above grade level. You know, you just have to figure out what's going on.
What's wrong?
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, wait, you couldn't tell that this child couldn't see? You know what I'm saying? That's because you're not taking the time to figure out what's going on with each child. You know what I'm saying? So what they did for you, it don't mean that's what they're going to do for me, because I'm going to take time to know and get to know all of my students and see what's going on, you know. And then some kids, they didn't want to read. They don't like reading. Okay, they didn't like what they were getting. That's why I figure out, what do you like? Okay, I like wrestling, Miss McGraw. Bam, here we go. Let me go get some wrestling books. Let me go get some wrestling magazines. Then we're gonna figure this thing out, because this is what you like. So if you want to take this magazine home, you're going to have to show me some reading progress. You're going to have to read to me. Oh, okay. I want to learn how to read this, Miss McGraw, because that's something that they like. So that's what I got to do. Go get something different to get you interested in reading. What you like? Oh, football, basketball. Okay, say less. I got you. You have to figure out what it is to get these kids motivated to learn how to read. And that's what I master at. Now, everybody going to get successful in here. Everybody going up. Everybody going to be successful. I just got to figure out what I need to get you to do what I need you to do. You know what I'm saying? I need to figure out how you learn. What's the problem? Why you don't like reading? What's going on? You know, I like Susie B. Jones. Okay, fine. I'm going to get them books. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's so important for parents to try to get these kids library cards. It's free. Take them to the library so they can pick out the books that they want to read. You know, and that's why I have so many hundreds and hundreds of books in my room. So you can find some category that you like, so that you can have your own books and take them home and have your own personal library. That's so important for kids to be able to read what they want to read, not just what we want to get them to read all the time. Let them have a chance to pick out what they like, and maybe they will start reading. But that's But that's another question on parents. But go ahead. We go ahead.
Okay, so the last question is, what can parents do to help their children become more successful in school?
Be involved.
Yeah. The
Be
first thing I'm gonna
involved.
say is this technology. This is my first problem. Kids now are so engaged with electronics. It is ridiculous. My students that I have that come from countries that my kids from my Asian students, kids from Africa, Iraq, Iran, those kids, they do not have technology in their homes at all. They do not have cell phones. They don't even have televisions. They don't even have televisions. Those kids have board games and they have books. Those parents always asking me for extra work. That's the difference between our kids, a lot of our kids, and kids that come from other countries that are happy and proud to be in America now. They want to learn and they want to succeed. And some of them surpass our kids, and they only been here for 2 years, and they learn more than our kids because that's what they want to do. Our kids, I'm gonna say our kids, my kids that look like me that are from here. All they do is technology. They go from cell phone to video games to TV, cell phone, video games, and they own them all night. And as a parent, there has to be a time where you say, okay, well, I'm gonna take these remotes. I'm gonna take these and when I go to bed, this phone is going with me. This iPad is coming in the room with me. These controllers coming in the room. I said go to sleep. That's what I mean, go to sleep. These kids come to school sleepy because they've been all night on electronics, in group chats. Parents not even monitoring the phones, what these kids writing, texting, what they saying to each other, the pictures they sharing with each other. I have found out so many things about these kids with the phones and things that are on their phones, and their parents don't even know about it. How you gonna pay for something you don't check? You ain't finna have no code and I can't get in your phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna know what you're doing at all times. Put down the electronics. Put them down. They don't need to be on that stuff all night long, but they own it all night long. When I see kids at restaurant, I sat in a restaurant last week. I saw different races of couples with the kids. Kids sitting there reading a book, different race at the table, waiting for the food. Another race. They playing, they using the little crossword stuff, the little coloring stuff, the little thing they give you to play with. They doing that they to give you at the restaurant. Then we see my people. Every kid on the phone. Every kid on the phone. No conversation. We're not having conversations. We're not talking to our kids when they get home. We go from leaving school to them doing whatever they want to do, to them coming back to school. And it's a problem. Parents are not parenting anymore.
Not at all.
And it's sad.
Not at all.
And now, within the last 10 years, and especially since COVID, now parents don't even believe teachers anymore. Like, we get
what did you do to
what did you
do to them? That's what I
they
mean. What did you do to them?
They taking up for their kids the bad stuff that they doing. Well, you must have did something to him first to make them mad. You did something to make them throw a chair. They don't take responsibility for their kids' actions anymore, because back in the day, parents told their kids in front of me, this is your parent. Miss McGraw is your parent. You will respect her like you're going to respect me. If you get out of line, Miss McGraw can do A, B, C, D. You better not do anything. Just by those parents telling those kids that I can do what I needed to do to handle them, the respect is already there. But now you have parents, if that teacher say something to you, if she look at you, if she raise her voice, you come and tell me, I handle it. That's where we at now. Where parents coming up there wanting to fight us. They don't want to hear what we have to say. They want to fight us now. That's why I said parenting now. These parents need parenting classes. They need help to learn how to be a parent. You know, they don't sit down with their kids. Homework? Oh no, we're not doing homework. We got football practice. We got a football game. Little Timmy gonna help us get out the hood. We ain't getting ready to do that. Homework is not important. Playing sports is more important. Education is not first anymore. It is sports, them having a good time, doing what they want to do, kids staying out of their face all day, and then going to bed whenever they feel like it. That's the problem. We don't have bedtimes anymore. You know what I'm saying? Kids don't write anymore. All this technology, kids don't even know how to write anymore. They don't even know how to write. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. If I gave these kids something and told them, explained it to them in a writing piece where they could find some money in the classroom and where they could find the treats and stuff in the classroom, they couldn't even read it. Because we technology, emojis, emojis. Can't even read, can't even write. These kids need to be journal writing every day. You don't even know if your child know how to write a sentence or not. Learning is everywhere. And I'm telling you, my nieces and nephews and godchildren, they knew. Anytime they went with me anywhere, we gonna learn. We ain't at school, I don't care. We learn wherever we go. We learn what that sign say. Read that sign. What's that? We in the back seat. What's 10 times 12? I'm giving out problems all day long. We in the car learning. We doing education all the time. This is not what's going on anymore. And then I will say we have parents that are illiterate. They don't know anything. So of course they can't help their kids do anything because they don't even know how to do it themselves. So I will say we have some parents like that now. Times have changed, but we're not gonna get any better if parents don't stop and think about what they need to be doing. That's not your friend. You are a parent. That is not your friend. And I looked at some of my students that made F's last semester. They got F's in December, and their parents know they got F's, but then they all came back to school last week with $200, $300 Jordans on, new phones, new iPhones, new $700 phones, just all this fancy stuff, purses that cost $600. Why would you spend all this money on your child and they're getting all F's? This what I don't understand. You don't deserve that stuff. Baby, you would be in some Dollar General tennis shoes. Trust me, you wouldn't be getting nothing. I am not spending my money on you, and you don't know how to act at school. You'd have been suspended 10 times. In school suspension 22 times. You got all else, and I'm buying you some Jordans. That's what I'm saying. These parents, they don't understand. They are setting these kids up for failure. And it's sad. It's really sad. Parents are not parenting anymore. I'm telling you, that's why, I get more frustrated with parents these days than I do kids, because I look at these parents coming up to this school and it's sad. It really is. And it's like, okay, I get it. All right. I would never call you again. I would never call you again. Wow. I got it. I got it. This, you don't listen to me. This is getting ready to be a problem for you for the rest of their life. I only have them for this amount of time, so I'm gonna do what I can. But this is your child. You getting ready to have for a very long time, and you're gonna have all these problems because you're not listening to what I'm trying to tell you what you need to do. You come to me and say, "Well, what you want me to do?" But I give you advice and give you steps and tell you what you need to do, and you don't do it. So you don't want help. You're going to continue to have the same problems. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I'll let you go because I can go on and on about these parents. You go ahead, Shaniece.
You said a lot. You really did. And I have a story for every scenario. I have a story for one. It is getting very hard. And that's what I keep telling my kids. When you get home, put the technology down. And I had a parent-teacher conference, the first parent-teacher conference, and a baby came in with the phone, and I said, put that phone down. Let's have a conversation with your mom. Go get your workbooks. Let's show your mom what you can and can't do. And I said, first thing, let me ask you a question. Can you spell phone? And they said, F-O-N. The mama sat back and smiled. This conversation is over. Because, Mom, you can't even spell phone. So what are we about to talk about here? That's really how it is. It is
interesting.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. But as a parent, if you want to be a better parent, come to your child's school. It's sad. It's some parents I've never spoken to. I don't know what they look like. They don't know my name. When they call to the school, I'm looking for the child. Well, who's your child's teacher? I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and phone numbers. This one thing, baby. If I'm trying to get in touch with a parent, I might have 7 numbers in the system. Don't none of them work.
None of them.
If my child go to a school, I'm gonna make sure if I have to change my number every month
Yes.
because it get cut off, I'm gonna give my teacher, I'm gonna give the school my number every month.
Yes.
You know, there is no reason why I shouldn't have a working phone number for your child. And we actually had this happen at my school last year. A child had asthma attack. We didn't have any correct numbers at all. The nurse had to go to the hospital with the child. That parent, they were not able to find this parent. And this parent came to the hospital at 8 o'clock. And this child had 8 o'clock at night. This child had an asthma attack at 10 o'clock in the day. This parent did not show up to the hospital at 8 o'clock in the night and had an attitude with the nurse and cursed her out. Talking about she didn't call her. We called every number that was in the system and nothing worked. The last jobs, they said she didn't work there no more. But she knew when she got home from work, her child wasn't there from the bus with the other children. And the other kids told him he had an asthma attack. He had to go to the hospital. So then now you want to figure out where your child is at. That's abandonment. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How we don't have the right number? You know what I'm saying? And it's just, I'm just sitting here like, come on now, parents. Come on now.
Yeah.
Y'all got to do better. Give us some working phone numbers. Take these kids to the library. The library is free. You know what I'm saying? Get them a library card. Do something educational with your child. You know what I'm saying? And it's tutors free in libraries that'll help your kids. You know, so many things they can do to try to get involved. And let me tell you, parent-teacher conference, I had 7 parents come to parent-teacher conference, and I teach 130 kids. 7. But check this out. Trunk or treat, I had parent-teacher conference at trunk or treat, baby, because I seen 62 parents at trunk or treat.
Yes.
So your child can come and get some free candy. You knew about that.
Yeah.
But they couldn't come to parent-teacher conference. So I had all my folders in my car, my trunk open. And yes, I was doing parent-teacher conferences at trunk or treat because they didn't come to parent-teacher conferences. I said, yeah, you want to get some candy? You can get a book out my trunk because I got books. You can get a book because you got all F, so you're not getting candy out of my trunk. So I had to have conferences at trunk or treat because parents went show up for parent-teacher conferences.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's sad. Yeah. It's sad. Yeah, because you can show up for one thing, you can show up for the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Priorities.
Yes.
Right.
Priorities.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna read through some of these comments. Let's see here. Miss Vicky Gilmore said, wow, Gerresa, where were you back in the day? And back in my school days, we had hard chairs. Latika Wiley says, you should write a book. Great, Gerresa. And that's a blessing. We need more like Gerresa. Gloria, another educator in Atlanta. She said, woohoo, a special ed teacher on the line. And Val said, so much love and appreciate for all you amazing educators. Amen to that. I tip my hat off to them every day. As you can hear on today's podcast, it's a lot. It's a lot. And the many hats that they have to wear. Ooh, good wisdom. Latika said, thank you for what you both are doing to serve in the community. Having hearts to serve and do what you do is a lot nowadays. Bless y'all. Ms. Vicky said, to be in tune with those students like you two are doing is true love for your callings. Absolutely. And Monique said, good job, ladies. And my mom, Linda Dumas, said, thank you both for doing all you do. It is evident that you both love not only what you do, what you love the children as well. Yep. You are walking in your purpose, and thank God for you both. You are making a difference in children's lives and their families. Amen. Yes, the love. Kiera says the priorities are flipped upside down nowadays. Amen. Let's see. Um, oh, Kiara said, Lord, please help these parents and guardians. And then Latika Wiley has a question. What can we do to help and as a church body?
Well, we do need, if you have people in your church that are willing to volunteer, willing to tutor, and come into the schools and read with the kids and help them learn. That's something really big that they need. They need access to free tutors during the daytime when the kids are at school. 'Cause a lot of parents don't have transportation, they can't get them places. So if you all can take an hour, some of the church members can take an hour out of their day to come up to the schools, set up, fill out the paperwork, get the background checks, and come into the schools, and just try to go to the community schools and start trying to read with the kids and start trying to teach them how to read, because reading that's the key to any subject. You have to be able to read to do any subject. So
Yeah.
reading is the real big problem in the world today. Kids don't know how to read, and if they just have somebody to take a little bit of time with them and show them that they care and they trying to help them, just that one-on-one attention is big for kids. Somebody to come there just for them, to pull them out of the classroom and work with them one-on-one, that's right there would just make a huge difference. If you
Yes.
can do that.
And if you could, even in the church on Sundays, if you have a lot of kids at the church, pull them from
Yeah.
service, and take that time within the hour or two while they're in church and work with them. It's easy to see, what a kid knows and what they don't know. If they're younger, start with alphabet sounds. See if they know their sounds. Do they know long and short vowels? Pull books. You can go online on Amazon and buy those lucky little learners. They're level books, A, B, C, D. Start off with A. If they read that A, move to B, C, D, so forth. So that you can start at the church, really. Pull them out of
Yeah.
service and just start, see what they need, or ask them if they're old enough, and know where they lack. Just have a conversation with them. What do you need help with at school? Go online and find different things that they can do. Even if you can't come into the building, pull them at church.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you both have given a plethora amount of information. I appreciate you both. I value you both. I mean, you've created an environment in both of your classroom where you have the love, you have the respect. And it's just been a joy listening to both of you on different, spectrums, but you both said the same thing. The passion and the love that you have, that is important, because a lot of times you do have teachers that just don't care. They're just in there just to make a paycheck. And Gerresa, one thing you said that stood out, you don't listen to the noise of someone else and someone else's opinion. You get to know those individual students one-on-one for yourself, and you cultivate that gift and you pour into them. So I appreciate all of that. You guys are very valuable to the school district, and kudos to you both. Kudos to you both. Gerresa, you're on the downside of your career, and Shaniece, you just getting started. So y'all got a wide gap there, but it's amazing how both of you really pretty much have said the same things. And I just love the fact to hear you both say you love what you do, because once you grow into your career and you start loving what you do, like when the students come back and you see the fruits of your labor, that's how you in your lane. So continue doing what you're doing. And Latika asked, do you all still encourage the kids to learn cursive writing?
Well, I can say that when I was teaching, I taught the fifth graders at least how to write their name in cursive, but I did practice with them with connecting their letters together. I'm in middle school now, and I don't see that they are teaching cursive in the ELA classes, but I have heard that the high school teachers are disappointed that the kids don't know how to write in cursive when they get to high school. So that's one of those things. I know in our district, we used to have handwriting books, and they used to practice handwriting, and starting in the third grade book, fourth grade book on up, they'd have cursive and they'd have to practice it. But because of budget cuts, I know our school, they don't have handwriting books anymore, but I kept mine. So I make copies of mine so my kids can still experience how to write cursive. And with my class this year, I'm teaching them cursive writing, even though if they don't do it anymore, they doing it with me because I kept some of my copies of my books.
Yeah.
But I think because of a lot of budget cuts, a lot of schools can't afford to pay for those extra handwriting books so the kids can learn, practice how to write in cursive. So that's one of those things that's kind of the door, but they need to know how to sign their name because you have to do that as an adult. I was teaching my students how to fill out a check and write a check, and then they had to sign it. And I had some play checks for them to play with, and explain to them the whole, checking concept because a lot of my students, they got their own Cash App cards, they got cash, they got Apple Pay, this and that. And they said, Mr. Brown, you write checks? I said, yes, I still write checks, and I'm still teach you how to write a check, and I'm teach you how to write a money order. Because when you get, your own chance to have your own apartment or house or whatever, you can't you might not be able to do you can't cash app your mortgage, you can't cash app your rent. You know what I'm saying? You at least have to know how to fill out a money order. So I teach them how to fill out a check, a money order. This is just something that I do, because I want them to be well-rounded in all aspects of payments. You know what I'm saying? Tika, that cursive in high school, I really don't know. I just know some teachers do complain about it in high school that they don't know already, but I just think it has a lot to do with them not allowing schools to have enough money in the budget to pay for the extra stuff, because the reading curriculum and math curriculum, those books cost so many millions and millions of dollars for them to have every year and be able to write in. They just don't have the funds for that extra handwriting.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't teach cursive at our district as well. But I always, for fun, I always teach my kids how to write their names in cursive. So it's an app that I type their names in and they print it off in cursive, and I just give it to them daily so that they can practice. But no, we don't teach it anymore in school. Not in public school. Private school, yes, but not in public school.
Wow. I did not know that. That's wow. So, Mom Linda said, great insight and discussion, ladies. Very informative, eye-opening, and much needed. She said, Gerresa made the announcement to solicit for volunteers to the church. And she says, no, Gerresa, you have to stay longer. She on the downslope. She said this is her last year in her school district. So kudos to you. So again, I thank you. I appreciate you. I thank you for your yes. When I reached out to you both said yes. This has been amazing. A lot of information. And just the fact that you both love what you do. See, Deidre just said, when you don't want them to know what you are saying, write in cursive.
True.
There you go. There you go. Yep. So again, I appreciate you. You have an open invitation to come on to the Just Breathe podcast at any time. If anyone inspires that are listening on tonight, if you have any inspiration to come on, I would love to have you to be my very special guest. You can email me at whatisyourdetour@gmail.com. Reach out to me on Facebook. Gerresa, Shaniece, would you like to share any of your information? Just if anyone goes back to listen, they want to reach out to you, they have other questions. If you have anything that you want to share, anything that you have coming up, programs you want to share, like I said, people go back and listen, or they might reach out to you for more information.
Yeah, they can. You can email me at Gerresa the Law at gmail.com. Or you can you can call me. You can inbox me on Facebook if you have any questions or anything about education. You have any kind of questions, need to know anything, need help, need advice, where to go, do things. And I always tell my parents, there's another program other than just free tutoring that they offer at the libraries. Well, I just know the St. Louis libraries have free tutoring and homework help from 4 to 6 o'clock in the libraries. But also there's a program called Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and they've located on Grand Avenue down the street from the Fox. And that's a program that a lot of the college students have to do to get their volunteer hours, and they will actually come pick kids up on the weekend and take them places and take them to the library, take them to read and do things with them. I mean, this helps some kids when they don't, parents don't have transportation. Big Brothers and Big Sisters is a program. They probably have a waiting list, but it's still good to try to get your child in their program. And
Yeah.
a lot of my parents, I tell them if kids don't have a father figure at home, they can pair the boys with a young man so they can
That's
have some
good.
type of male figure in their life. And it's a really good program. So I
That's
always
good,
tell
yeah.
my parents to reach out to Big Brothers and Big Sisters program.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Shaniece.
yeah. And then one other free site, if you want your child tested, if you think something's going on with your child and they won't test them at the school, Teachers as Learners is a big one. You know, Teachers as Learners. You look them up. They come in the home. They do testing. They do everything you need to do if you want to get the testing done, and they won't do it at the schools. Or you can take the kids to Cardinal Glennon
Cardinal
Hospital.
Glennon.
They have a sliding scale. You can pay a fee and get your kids tested if you want to get them tested as well. If you need that help, but Teachers as Learners is a big one. Yeah, just a couple of things just to let them know.
And yes, if you have any questions or need advice, suggestions, or anything, you can always contact me at my Facebook that's linked to this live.
All right. Well, thank you again, Shaniece and Gerresa. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for both of your hearts and the passion that you have as educators and just stand-up queens and women that are inspiring, that are doing great things in the community for our children and families. And you guys are showing them something different. You know, they might not have or see what you're showing them in the classroom every day. So continue doing what you're doing. Like I said, you're valuable and you're an asset. So
Okay.
I love you and thank you again.
One thing, it's called Parents as Teachers. I'm sorry. That
Parents.
one program, if you want to get your child tested and want them to come into your home and evaluate your kids, it's Parents as Teachers. I said that wrong. It's Parents as Teachers. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you and good night.
Okay.
Thank
Talk
you.
to you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.